now we have so many genres of music and so many cult fans of a specific style of music that they are very opinionated about what they want to hear.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they don't care if it's good. Like, they don't care if, you know, you can sing to the mountains. They just want to hear, maybe they want to just hear sad music and feel even more sad in their self. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one, man. And music in general is just, it's in a weird space, but in a good space.
Just because it's a big name doesn't always mean it's your crowd or that's the crowd that you even want to resonate with.
And it's sad, but that's where we are. It used to be a time where you can put a bunch of big artists on a platform, like at a festival or something, and everybody just be like, yo, I like all these people because these are all top people.
Right.
But now we have so many genres of music and so many cult fans of a specific style of music that they are very opinionated. One guy say, an artist without a team is just an idea. So in order to make that idea happen, obviously you have to have people supporting you that's backing you, that care about your well-being, that care about, you know, your success.
Welcome to the Let There Be Art podcast. My name is Jade Nova, and this is my incredible husband, Devin Mykel. And I'm so excited. He is going to be interviewing one of my favorite people on the planet, a fellow Gemini, my Gemini brother, Slimwav. Since you guys recorded this interview, so many incredible things have happened for Slim that I want to fill you guys in on. First of all, he has been nominated for a Grammy 5 times. Which is incredible. 5 is my number, and it's also the 5th month that Slim and I were both born in, is May. 5. It's all symbolic, yeah. 555 is the angel number for change and transformation. Just putting that out there. So congratulations, Slim. Also 5 times, he has been a musical director for Tiny Desk 5 times, with his most recent Tiny Desk endeavor being with Doechii, the newly Grammy-winning rap album of the year, songstress, rapstress, whole vibe herself, Doechii. That was an incredible Tiny Desk, and we have to show love to our brother Slim for just pulling it off because it was executed.
Killed it.
It was crazy.
Horn arrangements, everything.
He did the horn arrangements as well, you said?
Yeah.
Our brother Slim. And then also, I mean, this dude done did so much in the time since y'all talked. He just did the Amazon Music Live with Gunna. He just took up all the space playing multiple instruments because we know our boy, and as you guys will come to find out, is an incredibly talented multi-instrumentalist. And so all the things that I'm saying, he's just been taking up space in all of the ways. And he's recently engaged to his cocoa butter queen, Bree. Congratulations to the newly engaged couple. Yeah. I'm so excited for him. And I know he speaks a lot about her on y'all episode of the podcast. So make sure y'all stay tuned, lock in, because you are about to hear an incredible conversation with so many gems from 2 of my favorite guys, Devin Mykel and Slimwav.
All right, let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Let There Be Art podcast. Today we have a very special guest, my man Slimwav. He's an artist, producer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and an all-around creative who got his start playing music in church in Augusta, Georgia. After moving to Atlanta in 2008, Slim has worked as a musical director and performed on stage with artists such as Summer Walker, Lucky Daye, SZA, and Post Malone, just to name a few. He's now been tapping more into his artistry, songwriting, and production, and has produced with artists such as Justin Bieber, Jasmine Sullivan, Jade Nova, Diddy, and Ty Dolla $ign. Now, welcome my guy, Slim, to the podcast.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, bro? How you feeling, man?
Amazing, man. Can't complain.
Good. He literally just got off a plane and came here, so we lots of love to you for doing that, because I don't know if I could have done it coming from LA.
I love y'all. So I'm always pull up no matter what.
My guy. No, it's always great to have you, man. Slim has been literally my friend for
decades.
Yeah, we're about 15 years in. Yeah. I think this year, since like 2009, I think we met in the circles here in Atlanta, coming up as musicians and producers and just trying to figure out our careers. And just to see you over the last 13 years has been absolutely amazing, coming from college and all these dreams and aspirations we had, and Band of Brothers, 630 Band, 630 Band. Before you were even an artist, and to now coming into your artistry having placements on huge artists, a huge part of the Love album. Man, this been super inspiring to see, man. And I can't say, I don't have the words to say how proud I am of you, man.
Man, that means a lot, man. Because, I've been inspired by y'all, man. I've been watching y'all since I came out here. Like, man, these people, they push the boundary on creativity. And that those boundaries that you guys push created Let There Be Art. You know what I mean? So I think it's it's a give and take thing, man. Y'all inspire me to keep going because it's like I realize I can't be below a certain level of creativity because my friends, like y'all keep me, motivated and stuff.
Likewise, man. Likewise. And and that's how it's supposed to be, man. Each one teach one, and we keep the inspiration high, and just blessed to have people like you in our lives. So I wanted to jump into a couple stories that made me think I would love to hear your take on this. But I wanted to play this Ari Lennox clip really quick.
Okay.
It was the worst tour of my life. It just was, in every fucking way imaginable. It just was. I mean, it was so annoying because, like, you could be singing your ass off. You could be singing your ass off and they don't give a shit. They're not there for you.
Facts.
They're there for music that will never be like my music. They're there for voices that'll never be like my voice. And so it just got old after a while of just like, I'm giving you glam, I'm giving you my whole asshole, I'm giving you my soul, I'm giving you my vocals, and nothing was ever enough. Nothing. And I saw the building light up for Doechii. I saw the building light up, like every fucking camera in there. I saw the love. Every fucking night when I got on stage, I was fighting for my life. I was never comfortable. I just remember every show just racing to get off stage, racing to get through my set. And then I found a spot where I was comfortable and I started trying to communicate with the audience. And then when I realized they were getting angry at me affirming them, you're getting angry that I'm affirming you. This is not my crowd and it'll never be. And that's all right. That's all right, you know what I mean? So
I'm just curious of your take. Obviously, you have a different perspective of being a musician and being on the road and understanding what it's like to work different crowds and different genres and all of that. I guess talk a little bit about the importance of tribe and people and stepping into spaces that are ready to receive your music.
Man, first shout out to Ari, man. We don't deserve Ari, man. She's she's a gem that I feel like, we don't take care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And shout out to Ari. Just shout out to Ari. I love her. But man, it's one of those things. It's tough because we're on the back end of it and catching the backlash of a lot of the stuff that happens. Like, for instance, in her case, she thought maybe she was just going to go on this tour and people were going to, receive her music well. The whole time, those people, that's not what they listen to. Mm-hmm. And so technically that was whoever's fault that booked her for that because they should have known, like, they should have did more research.
Yeah, that's just because it's a big name doesn't always mean it's your crowd or that's the crowd that you even want to resonate with.
And it's sad, but that's where we are. It used to be a time where you can put a bunch of big artists on a platform, like at a festival or something, and everybody just be like, yo, I like all these people because these are all top people.
Right.
But now we have so many genres of music and so many cult fans of a specific style of music that they are very opinionated about what they want to hear.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they don't care if it's good. Like, they don't care if, you can sing to the mountains. They just want to hear, maybe they want to just hear sad music and feel even more sad in their self. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one, man. And music in general is just, it's in a weird space, but in a good space. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is tough. And we've been in those spaces, not in that same situation, but when you're walking into someone else's crowd, there it's even if it's the same genre, it's just always a little uncomfortable trying to connect with people who don't know you.
Yeah.
But I love winning those spaces over,
Yeah.
and so I can't imagine the feeling of not being received when you know that's like a high for me, is to go like I'm gonna win this crowd over. Even y'all don't know me, y'all ain't know nothing, and you know we. Jay's first tour was actually on the Tiana Taylor tour, and that was like my highlight every night. It's like, let's win this crowd over.
But with all due respect, Tiana's crowd are people that love high level art. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's why it was. So that was a good fit, and that's why I said, kind of piggybacking on the question is or just the perspective to have on it is that you have to choose the people that you align with very carefully, and like what you were saying with the agents, whoever put that together, you gotta think more than just the money.
Yeah, I think I would be wrong to say that. I feel like Ari did that. She did that tour and didn't get any fans. Because sometimes I feel like it only takes one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even with content and stuff, posting on social media, like I feel like we've all experienced where like you'll post something and the numbers don't do as great. But then we also forget like the first thing that ever made you go viral was one person seeing it and sharing it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So a lot of times that one person in that crowd may have been all she needed.
Yep.
Really, that would, I mean, all those people in there could have been sad, but she probably could have saved one person's life with those affirmations and stuff. So
for sure,
I think that would be a different perspective to look at it.
100%, 100%. Yeah, because you have to look at the good in all situations, and it's very easy to focus on the negative. And I love that you brought that up, because even with social media, we'll have hundreds or dozens of great comments and all this positivity, and then that one person
start self-doubting and stuff like, wait a minute.
Man, and it's unfortunate that we harp so much on those things, and it's people project and people don't like to see things that they know is going to push them to be a better version of themselves when they're not ready to go yet. So shout out to Ari, and I hope she never has to have that experience again, man. Seriously. And I'm going to play a second clip that I wanted you to weigh in on. So this one is Nick Cannon talking about networking.
Okay.
These are people who started off as creators, and you've seen them online first. The new model is they did it themselves.
Proof of concept.
Yeah, and then the networks and the platforms came running to them. And it's funny because I've been preaching that to people for years. Like, forget going and pitching to them. Get hot and they gonna come to you.
Like an artist, like a music artist.
Simple as that. I tell everybody that, like, if you want to, like, yo, I need the network, like, networking. Networking is a waste of time, in my opinion. Go perfect your craft, and then all those rooms that you want to get into, they're gonna be calling to get at you, because you're the gift, you're the anomaly, you're the talent. It's like a lot of time people spend time trying to get hot as opposed to trying to create the true solid foundation of what creates the heat.
That's facts. That is factual. And I feel like that, for the most part, that's how we all have kind of got to where we were. Because I think we grew up in a time where people could actually put you on. You know what I mean? Now the power is being put back in our hands. For instance, like, you can sing, you can go down to the radio station and sing, and then next thing you know, somebody from Jagged Edge like, yo, I want to introduce you to my manager, and we want to give you a record deal. You know what I mean? But now it's like labels and people that are in the power to do things, they don't really care about you if you don't have no motion. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of it. So I think that mentality has definitely changed a lot of people, and is making a lot of, viral stars out there now, for people that just like, you know what, bump it, I'm just gonna create my own wave, and I'll find the group of people that like what I do. And then once I find that group of people, the people that have resources that I may need, they're gonna be like, yeah, we see there's money in that, so we're gonna, I mean, it's gross, but it's business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see this from two sides. I get it from the perspective of just putting your art out there, and the people will come to find you. I 100% believe that. And we've seen that with Jay's career over the years, and just literally us starting from nothing, not having a name to building it up to where we are today. But on the other side of it, I do still think it's important to network, but side to side.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not the same exactly. Which is like, oh, I need the handout, I need the agent, I need the manager, I need the big label, and saying no, I just want to work with people who see my vision and who can invest in me and where I am right now, so I can go and give back to them one day, and vice versa. And we talked about this a little bit with Nzinga as well, but yeah, because we met her on Urban Musical, a web series that we were doing on YouTube. But you know, just even you and I and us going to eventually do work on Jay's stuff, or to go on tour, or any gigs that may come up. That came from us networking over the years and building a relationship. But again, we weren't so focused on networking with the next person. It was networking with someone who was truly here for me and truly inspiring me to grow right here in my own circle.
Correct.
So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing, because when I first heard it, I was like, oh, I don't know about that, but I totally get where he's coming from. That if you put in the work and you put the content and the art out there, people will come.
They will find you.
Yeah,
they will find you.
But in the same breath, still network side to side. I do think you have to network side to side if you want to keep elevating and do more than what you can do on your own.
Speaking of networking side to side, I don't know if y'all ever knew, but did y'all know y'all was like my first major placement?
No.
Yeah, that was like, because I was producing before then, but then I think it was All Blue. That was like the first time I actually got a placement on an artist. You know what I mean?
What?
Like, when I say an artist, like somebody that's well known.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of course, I make some beats and stuff for the homies and stuff.
Right.
I always think about that. I was like, wow, that was actually pretty crazy. That was
that is crazy.
That moment,
Yeah, shout out. So Slim co-produced All Blue, which was the first single and the title track of Jay Nova's first album, All Blue. And then he also did co-produced the second title track for Stages. He did that, and then also Trip and Who Are You on this new project. So Slim has been a huge part of building Jay's career, and someone that we're always going to work with. Literally one of my favorite producers and musicians. Literally,
I appreciate y'all so much, man. More than you know.
For sure, man. Always. Yeah, man. Tell us how you got started in music and all the things that you do.
Well, I first got started in music from my dad. He used to play in a jazz band, I think called Just Us, when I was a kid. So,
cool.
You know, he brought drums and stuff, and I would, play his drums at the crib, or when he used to play drums at church, I used to try to play. So he was like my introduction to music, and I'm so thankful for him, because to this day he actually still plays.
Dope, man.
So it'd definitely be a dream of mine to like get him on stage one time and play like a.
What else does he play other than drums, or
just
drums? Okay, cool.
Just drums. He tries to play keys and stuff, and he can sing the stuff that he hears. He just can't play it as well. Right. But yeah, I kind of got started like that. He had me, he just brought like a bunch of instruments and stuff from this lady, and just left it around the house. He never really forced me to play anything, but he was like, whatever you want to play, make sure you practice, just be good at it. You know what I mean? And I kind of took that. One day I was like, I want to play all of these. He was like, well, you got to pick one. So like, you got to start off something. I was like, yeah, this is my villain origin story. Now I have to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I got to figure them all out, which it helped. When I moved to middle school, I had a teacher named Miss Bronco. Her name was Miss Sherry Bronco. I love that lady. Like, from the jump of me getting into middle school, I don't know what it was she saw in me at that moment, but you would have thought like I was her child. Like she would make me do everything just because she knew I had it in me.
Yep.
So I believe my first role was playing James Brown at my middle school, Morgan Road Elementary. She had me do like James Brown at the pep rallies and stuff. And I was also playing in the pep rally drums and stuff. And then I ended up doing terrible in that school, like flunking like my 6th grade.
Ah, man.
And she was like, no, we have to move. My dad was like, you got to move to a different school. And the moment I got to my new middle school, I don't know how it happened, but I got to my new middle school and I was like, well, who's the band teacher? And he was like, yeah, we got this new band teacher. Her name was Miss Sherry Bronco. I was like, you're lying.
What?
And from there, she had me doing like Elvis and like leading the drum line and playing. That she like taught me trombone, trumpet, euphonium, and just had me like really working. I'm so thankful for it because it kind of helped me like see that there's more than just playing drums. You know what I mean? So.
And what was your first instrument, or were you learning all of them at the same time?
Drums. Drums was definitely my first instrument.
Okay.
It was drums, and then I learned some horn instruments, and then I learned keys.
Okay. And what ages were you when you started learning?
Drums, I was 2.
Okay.
Middle school, I started learning horns. So that's like 13, 12, 13. And then I started learning keys when I was around like high school. So I was like 16, 17.
Got you.
And from there it just kept going.
Dope, man. And so I guess what was your goals when you first started like taking music seriously, or when did you know like, okay, this is something I'm like I want to do?
I don't think it was something that I was like, this is something I want to do. It's just something, the only thing I knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I knew, of course we played basketball and stuff, but I think when I broke my elbow in middle school, that just shattered my basketball dreams, because the coach was like, yo, you're talented. Like just pull up to tryouts and you'll be good. But then I ended up breaking my elbow like maybe a week before tryouts.
Dang.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm really good at music, so I'm like, I'm good. I'm just keep going that way.
Word.
So yeah, it was something. It wasn't something that I just feel like I just chose. I feel like it chose me, low key. I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but it just kind of was my path.
So I guess in your high school years, when you were like, okay, this is all I know. This is something I'm gonna try to pursue. What were your goals then?
Actually, I didn't find out till high school that you can travel and be a musician. I had a homeboy. We used to always be at the lunch table, just like talking about drummers and stuff. His name was Brandon Kelly. And we used to always talk about drums and stuff. And then that's when YouTube started to pop. And then you start to see these concerts and like, wait a minute, these guys are playing for artists professionally. Like you can make money doing that. And I was like, that's my goal. That's all I want to do. You know what I mean? All I want to do is travel the world playing for artists and stuff. And that dream came true. You know what I mean? So that was my only goal at the moment. But the more and more I started getting to being a musician, I started to realize like even that has a cap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're not really gonna have too much to show from it, but some pictures later on.
Yeah, man. No, I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times, you know, being a musician and accompanying or backing up someone can turn into like the 9 to 5 of
real fast
musicianship. Speak to that and your transition over from saying, okay, I'm playing the background, I'm gonna play for this artist, to like now I want to produce and have my original ideas out there and write songs and be my own artist. What was that transition like for you, and what was that moment that kind of was like, okay, I need to kind of pivot my path a little bit?
Oddly enough, is when I first started traveling for artists, because I feel like the thing that we as musicians or people that are creatives or artists struggle with is feeling like you're feeling appreciated. I mean, obviously we can, we play instruments and stuff, but I think my first time realizing that was like just being on the road with one of our first artists when I was playing with this artist named Rory, and we were super cool with him. But I started to realize it was like almost like you become a number, and people introduce you like, oh yeah, this is Slim, the keyboard guy. You're like, no, I'm more than a keyboard guy. I can do all of these amazing things, and I'm here to help your career and make this thing look really big. But you start to realize you're just respected as a piece, as a puzzle piece in someone else's, grand scheme of things, which is not a problem. Because it's like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Even when you work a regular 9 to 5, you're a piece that helps a bigger picture move for someone else. And I think immediately once I got into it, I realized, okay, I got to create an exit plan. Because I don't want to look up and I'm 40, 50 years old trying to play for artists. You know what I mean? That's just insane to me. And that was my moment. I was like, okay, this is going to be a short road. And, I just had to figure out ways to transition. And luckily for COVID, it happened. COVID was like, I was one of those people that COVID was actually good for me. You know what I mean? A lot of people say COVID kind of messed them up. But COVID actually set me down to redirect my path to focus on things that I wanted to do. And from that, that's when I started to do more content. And that was when Drake had reposted one of my videos. And that day, like literally everybody that was like, yo, this Slim the keyboard guy, they was like, yo, like we want to sign you, like we want to figure out a way, like we can just do this. And I was like, dang, that's all it took.
Yep, and that takes me back to the point of why I agree, you know, to a certain extent about Nick Cannon's thing is you just put it out there, man, and people will come and, you know, it may not always be in the order that you want them to, but at the end of the day, you are still getting a chance to elevate your career.
True.
You know, and have people affirm that for you.
Right.
And you know, no matter how it comes, at the end of the day, it's got you moving.
True.
And it's well deserved, man. So you should be super proud. And all quarantine long was great to watch you transition into that. So you're an independent artist, correct?
True.
And so what's been like? Well, I guess, are you independent by choice? Or would you sign a major label deal?
Yeah, I'm independent by choice because obviously I haven't been putting a lot of original music out, which this is the year where I'm starting to do that more. But I'm independent because I just haven't had anybody call, and I'm actually not even sure if I would do like a major. I mean, obviously if it made sense in a sense, like I feel like the resources and the help could work. But yeah, I'm honestly, you know, it's just,
what part of signing a major deal is like a hesitation to you? Is it giving up your masters, or?
I think it's a part of it. I feel like a lot of people talk about getting off your masters and stuff, and they don't really know exactly anything about masters and how they work or how you can make money from them.
Right.
So I don't even think that is the thing. I think the thing more so is knowing me. I'm a purist, so I like to think of art, this is the argument me and my girl have all the time, because she understands both sides, and I've grown up only understanding one side. So she's like, this is a game. If you play the game, you're gonna get the platform you want, and then you can do whatever you want. But you know, you can also do it your way, and it'll take a little longer, but you'll be more fulfilled. So I definitely appreciate her for that, for always, you know, keeping that at the forefront of my brain. So I think being with an actual label is playing the game, you know what I mean? But with that, you lose certain controls, you lose certain, you know, things that you would if you were not with a label, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is the hard part for a purist.
Yep.
If you were just a person that was just solely just wanting to play the game all the time, you'd be like, yeah, let's just do it, let's run it up, we can make the money back. But as a purist, you're like, yeah, I don't really like to move until my heart feels like it's supposed to. You know what I mean? It's hard to operate just off of numbers or operate off of what I know people are going to like, because the reality of it is the thing that got us all here is moving off of our heart, which allowed people to find you. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I can do it like that, what sense does it make to do it unfulfilling their way?
And then they tell you when you can put it out, or if you can put it out.
If you can put it out. And for some artists, like, their art is a part of their timeline of healing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now I love how you broke that down, because it is like it depends on what kind of artist you are. There's some people who that doesn't matter to them, and that's okay, and that works for you. But I would much rather take the long road, like you said, be fulfilled. Because that's why I chose music. I did this so I didn't have to feel stressed. I did this so I could move at my pace, and I didn't like being told what to do in school. Like, I just, this is my vision. Let me curate it how I want to. So and how is the other side of that now, signing a publishing deal with Warner Chappell and seeing, I guess, what the major publishing system can do for you. Now, obviously, it's a little different because you're not dealing with masters in the same sense.
Right.
But yeah, how's that experience been, going from an independent producer who was self-publishing to now being published by one of the biggest publishing companies in the world?
I think the one thing that I really understand about it is having that name sometimes attached to you also makes people look at you different. You know what I mean? For instance, me getting the Drake repost made people see me different. You know, have you ever heard that saying where the guy was like, you put a trash can in an alley, it's a trash, but if you put it on a white backdrop with the right lighting, it's art. You know what I mean? I feel like it's something like that. So having that backing, having those people like say, yeah, this is Slimwav, he's a part of Warner, sometimes that makes certain people, it's like almost like less of an audition. Like you don't have to prove yourself anymore. It's like, oh, he must be good enough, he's signed.
Right.
So that's I feel like that's a major part of it, the name, having the name, the stamp of approval, to get you in certain doors, which that mainly what it is. But I think as far as like movement, I think it's up to the producer. I think it's up to whoever signed. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I've been doing pretty well. I've been doing really well, like as far as like getting placements and stuff, without the label, because I just knew a bunch of people through social media or moving around. But I feel like if I also knew those people and also like bugged the label, also like reached out to them like, yo, what could I do? What, you know what I mean? I feel like everything would move even faster.
Yeah.
But like I said, this year I'm definitely getting into that. I don't think I utilized my resources as much as I could have.
Yeah.
Just based off of not understanding how labels work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to play the follow-up game for sure and stay on people, and you learn that, especially navigating, you know, because at the end of the day they're only going to be as strong as you push them to be.
Yeah.
And you have to stay on people because they're dealing with so many different artists and producers and everything. So yeah, that's a great point. And you know, learning how to self-manage or have someone in place that can help it really stay on people and stay on their heads to get what you need done. So yeah, that's first of all, congrats. I've told you this off camera, of course, but congrats on signing with Warner Chappell, man.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So take me back to before Warner Chappell, and when you were publishing on your own, how was that process of like self-publishing for you?
I actually had no idea about it until you told me about how to, you know, get your publishing set up and making sure you get paid, PROs and all that stuff. Shout out to BMI. So yeah, I had no idea about it before, and I didn't know exactly how people got paid to make music. You know what I mean? Until this day, there's still like some blind spots that I'd be like, wait, so how exactly is that happening? But you know, I'm kind of understanding more and more as I go through, especially having a manager and having people that do publishing. My girlfriend actually does publishing, so yeah, it was a process, like, you know, understanding where to upload, what royalties are, what splits are, what points are on a project. You know what I mean? So. For someone that just is a creative, it could be very overwhelming, not understanding how to set up your LLC, not understanding how to connect your LLC to your music and all, connecting your PROs and stuff with your account, your bank accounts, and all stuff. DBAs.
DBAs,
it could be real confusing, but once you do it, it's like, oh, it wasn't that hard, but it's just the initial idea of just doing it.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, and there's not a lot of information out there. And that's one of the main reasons why we started this podcast, is to help people, you know, systemize their business and you know, turn it into something where it's profitable and not just a hobby. Because that's how a lot of us came up. It's just like, cool, I want to be on TV and do music and stuff, and you don't see all the other things that go into it.
Money just going down the drain.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's literally, you know, millions and millions of dollars out there of uncollected money. I mean, from probably huge artists that you even know, they just, you know, before they got on, just didn't have a way to collect their publishing correctly. So
have you ever heard of the black box?
Yes.
Jeez, I just found out about that like 2 or 3 years ago. So the black box, for all of you artists that don't know, is money that is unclaimed by you that sits in this box, and after a certain period of time, if you don't claim that money, they just use it as a bonus for some of the top artists.
Yep, literally.
So money that's unclaimed, and I know you may not know how to get that money, you just got to do a whole lot of research. The internet is free. But that money that you don't claim, it ends up going to nice little fund for people like whoever. Top
Drake,
artists.
Beyonce.
Drake, Beyonce, SZA, whoever.
Ed Sheeran.
Yep. So yeah, do some research on that.
Yeah, I think that happens after like 3 years maybe of it being unclaimed. I can't remember exactly, so don't quote me on that. But yes, please get your publishing together, and we will be having some resources for you guys, so you can click the link in the description. So when did you start making money full time as a musician?
I believe it was in 2010. 2009 or 2010. I was working at UPS, and at that time I had just started playing for churches, and I was playing bass at first, which is not the same pay as a keyboard player
at all.
I came out to Atlanta to play bass, and then realized like, wait, how am I going to be able to sustain my life making $150 a Sunday? Insane. So I was like, wait, I play keys. So I played one day at a service, and he was like, yeah, pay is like $350 a Sunday. I was like, what? At my age, I'm like, that's crazy because I'm working 30 hours at UPS 5 days a week to make $250. So it clicked for me one day. I got what they call is misloads at UPS, where you load the box on the wrong truck. And my supervisor came, he was like, yo, come to my office. And he was talking to me all types of crazy. He was like, yo, like, you're not going to find another job like this. Like, there's not too many jobs out there for a kid like you where you can be making this money, you know, and you can climb the ladder and you can be a driver at UPS. He's like, you're not going to find that. And this was my only time I ever been disrespectful to an elder, someone that was older than me. I was like, yo, with all disrespect, with no disrespect. Wait, how'd you say it?
With all due respect?
With all due respect. I should have said with all disrespect. I said with all due respect, like, I make this in 4 hours.
Yeah.
On a Sunday. He was like, so what are you doing here? You just pissing away the opportunity. I was like, okay. Now you're just mad because I just shut you down.
Yeah.
Like, I make more money playing at church for 4 hours on one day than I do 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, it clicked. And then I think I had got sick maybe in December of that year. And I had told them like months ago that I might be going on tour, my first tour, but that was for the fall. And he mixed them up, and he was like, yeah, I know you're trying to call out because you want to go on your little tour. I was like, no, I just told you I was sick. I have a doctor's note saying that I'm sick. Like, there's no AC, there's no heat here. Like, we're working in cold weather. You know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, if you leave this job, don't worry about coming back. I was like, oh, all right. That's easy. That's no brainer. Like, I was really only trying to stay here for consistency, for myself. You know,
to help fund your stuff. Yeah.
But at that moment, I started playing at churches anyway, so I'm like, oh, this is a no brainer. I'm out. You know what I mean? And then the last day I left, he said, good luck on your little music thing. I was like,
what?
Yo, that's crazy.
Now look at you, bro. We should FaceTime him real quick.
Hey, man.
So yeah, like the gigging scene, like I even tell my son this all the time. Like, there's literally no comparison to like 9 to 5 to what you can do as a creator.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, and that's even at the lowest levels, like, $350 church gigs, or it's much easier to make that money if you have the skill to go along with it. Right. So that's the part. If people put in the time and the work to build those skills. So in your gigging process, like, what was the most unique gig? Like, because we've done so many things under the sun being musicians. Like, were there any like very unique or like weird gigs that you've done, or like which one that sticks out?
We've done a bunch of weird gigs. Like, one time we went to someone's birthday party, which happened to be like at this little hole in the wall club. I could tell everybody there was family, but they had strippers come. And I like, the whole time I was there, I was trying to figure out the dynamic of the family. I'm like, all right, you got grandma over here, you got aunties, some kids they weren't kids, they were probably like teenagers. But you got strippers coming in here, and y'all want us to play like cover band music for the strippers? Like, I was so confused. Like, I'd never been so happy to get my money and leave, because I was just so confused at the dynamics of what was going on. That was just like, that was one of the moments I was like, yeah, I can't do this too long.
That's definitely takes the cake for the like weirdest gig ever.
I was confused. But then also one that I'll like, gigs that I never deem like normal are corporate band gigs. Like, a lot of people don't know, but a lot of times when you do like these corporate band gigs, you go out with a corporate band, and 90% of them are weddings. The issue with that is they do them on these plantations, sometimes golf resorts, whatever, but these plantations. And my aha moment when we did it, we were doing some wedding, and they always just look at you as the band, you know what I mean? But they have what is called like band food or whatever. They'll get like some food for the band before we sound check and stuff. And the thing that just caught me off guard, like, we were on this plantation, like, of course, it wasn't a plantation anymore. It was like an old house or whatever.
Right.
And they got us food. And guess what the food was?
Chitlins.
No. It was fried chicken.
Yep.
But wait. And watermelon.
Oh, I was about to say watermelon, bro.
I kid you not. And I never got that joke until it happened. I was like, oh, they got us fried chicken and watermelon.
Oh, my God.
Wait a minute. They got us fried chicken and watermelon. Hold up. And then at that moment, I was like, yeah, nah, they got me jacked up.
So they pulled in the talented niggas to show off.
Play nigga.
Like, yep. No, I've definitely had that feeling.
Play nigga.
100% at a gig before, specifically corporate type events in those types of settings. So I totally get what you're saying, and it can definitely be very weird being in the background watching these people celebrate their things when you're like the background music. I totally get that. I've had a number of weird gigs myself. I'll spare you the stories though.
No. I actually want to hear one now.
Let me see. Weirdest would probably be birthday party as well for a girl at my high school, and it was just her family there, and I went and I sang happy birthday and like some other stuff, but they're all white.
Oh wow!
So it was a little like, I'm not used to being in white people's homes, and it's just like, it's just a very different space to be in, and I'm like, all right, what do I do now? It's like I'm ready to go.
Right.
But yeah, that's one that sticks out.
That's awkward.
Another one was a house party. And we were doing like some like jazz kind of like set or whatever. It was like some weird house party, and they had like I don't know. It just felt awkward being in somebody's house playing music. But yeah, I've done all kind of gigs under the sun and seen Craigslist posts and played for all kind of churches and everything. So man, that's the life, and grateful to be out of that that hustle and grind.
Absolutely.
So it's really rare to find producers who are like really good musicians and vice versa.
Yeah.
So like, how has that been balancing for you now, being on this side of your artistry where you're tapping more into your production and songwriting? What's that balance for you?
Man, it's a weird balance because a lot of times I obviously realized that people like space, and you don't have to play like these really big, elaborate chords or sounds in order to get an idea across, because for the most part, people care about the song. They don't really care about the production unless you're doing a different genre where they just want something to ride to.
Right. Yeah.
But it hasn't been really challenging at all because I'm understanding spaces for everything. You know what I mean? As producers, it's our job to study the craft. So your understanding of what genre needs what.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
So
for sure.
It's been pretty chill. I can't complain. It's definitely a superpower to be able to play instruments.
It is
in sessions, because I realize there's a lot more people that can't play it.
Yeah, you'll get invited in a lot of rooms just for that alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah.
So how has being a musician opened doors for you? Just like with the artists that you may work with, or have your musician opportunities led into what you ultimately want to do and starting to move into your production and artistry?
Absolutely, because a lot of artists these days, they're trying to push the sound. They're trying to push their own sound, and it's hard to do that if you're just a beat maker. Because in order to push certain sounds, you have to know certain modes. You have to understand what certain chords do to people. You know what I mean? So I think it's definitely one of those things. It's like it's definitely a superpower that helps me connect with the artist more, because they know, like, okay, he knows all these things, so I can really get my feeling across that I'm trying to get to the people, because he has the knowledge of how to bring that out.
Right. And I know you played with Summer Walker. Is that how you ended up like doing some production work with her, or?
Actually, I had musically directed her tour. It was called the First and Last Tour, and that's where I met London on the track. Shout out to London on the track. And from there, he was like, yo, I see how you work. I would love to see, what we can do in the studio together or whatever. So we got in the studio, and he was like, yo, I got these vocals from Summer. Like, there's no beat to it. You know what I mean? I just want to see what you hear. And the prior knowledge of being in church, you know, playing behind the artist, it's been millions of times where you have to play around somebody, behind somebody, and you don't know the song. But you know where certain melodies fall on certain chords within the key. So it's kind of like, okay, I do that and, you know, this sounds good. So we just do that, you know what I mean? So I just took that knowledge and put it under her vocals, and I'm like, this sounds great. And then they was like, yo, this sounds crazy. And they don't know, like, I had that training. You know what I mean? So
it's just magic for them.
it's magic for them.
Yeah.
They think I'm just like a wizard. And I'm like, man, I had some training.
Yeah, man. No, it's all numbers and math at the end of the day. Frequencies, that's all it is. So how, like, since coming to Atlanta, playing for artists, playing in church, and then transitioning into your production and artistry, how has your idea of success changed since you first got in the industry to where you are now?
Man, it's changed a lot, because I realized success for what artists think, or people that are aspiring to be artists, is like being a Drake or being a SZA. Not knowing that success really means doing what you love to do sustainably. You know what I mean? So you can be, there's plenty of artists selling out arenas and you've never heard of them. You know what I mean? Which lets me know, like, you don't have to be a Drake. You don't have to be a SZA. You don't have to be a Summer Walker to do what you love to do. Because people are going to find you. You know what I mean? You're going to have that fan base that are just diehard fan base, even you've never heard them before. So that's definitely changed my idea of success. Like, being able to do what you love to do. Like, that's my definition. Doing what you love to do and sustaining yourself. And if you're above sustaining yourself, you're insane. You know what I mean? You're in a good space.
No, I 100% agree, man. And I'm also curious about your relationship with your girlfriend. Now, I know there's a little crossover in what you guys do. She works in distribution at STEM and has also worked in Spotify, I think in marketing maybe. And but yeah, just curious how your paths cross. Now, obviously, she's not a musician per se. But yeah, how has that been?
Little known fact, she is actually a musician.
Oh, she is?
She played clarinet in high school.
Okay, dope. Okay. So she at least understands it.
Yeah, she understands it. She grew up, in church too. But she also moved out to Atlanta, interning under DTP and Shaka and all them. But she was a songwriter at first. That's how I met her. I met her as a songwriter.
Got you.
She was doing publishing. Her story is crazy because she went and graduated from Georgia State, and then she went up to Berkeley, to pursue more in writing and stuff like that. So
I didn't know she went to Berkeley.
Yep, she went to Berkeley. Obviously, like everybody else, I don't think she graduated. I actually don't know anybody that went.
None
to
of us graduated from Berkeley.
Nobody. But yeah, she did that, and then came down to Atlanta. Started working for a company called Downtown Music, which was in publishing because she had already had prior knowledge of publishing and stuff. Publishing guru, and then she started songwriting, and I think her realizing that the songwriters were being taken advantage of, it kind of may have put a bad taste in her mouth. She's like, okay, we got to figure something else out, because just like being a musician, like there's a cap on it. I feel like as a songwriter, unless you're, the Nesias, or unless you're the Inks or Jazzy, which are all amazing writers, some of my favorites, it's a little harder to really get compensated. So with that being said, she does that, and I met her online. And we were just friends. And then I ended up seeing her at one of my homies' Childish Major. I saw her at his event, and I just went up to her and said, hey. And from there, like, we became really good friends, really good friends, almost to you, like, man, why haven't I met you before? Like, I feel like you're the only woman that I've ever met that I feel like I can really be like, yo, you're really my friend. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how we met. That's kind of like, in a nutshell, how we met. And from there, we just kind of got closer and was like, you know what, this makes so much sense. You know what I mean? So
that's beautiful, man. Obviously, I can relate with, being with Jade, and it was literally the same way. We were friends, completely like just friends first. Like, she would tell me about her dating experiences and vice versa.
Y'all can't skip that friend step.
Man, it is underrated to be friends, yo. So underrated. So Is there a crossover in your career paths? Like, is she involved in your career, or
she's very much involved in my career? Okay. Like, and to be 100% honest, like me, I'm the type of person like, yo, when it comes to content, and this is how it kind of started. When it comes to content, I'm like, yo, I want to do something that I just love. Like, I want to go find a Burt Baccarat. What's his name? What's his name? Burt Baccarat. I want to find like a record of his and redo it, and it's gonna go so crazy on the internet. And then I'll post it, and they'll be like, "Yo, we don't know who this guy is. Never heard this song before. Sound great though." But she was like, "Yo, this Drake song just came out. Like, you should like do a cover of it that night, the night it came out."
Yeah.
And she was like, "You should do it." And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'll do it. It's actually pretty cool." So I did it the next morning. So she's actually responsible for like a lot of the ideas that kind of come from me being successful, because she understands people.
Yeah. And then seeing it from a marketing perspective and seeing it without the lens of a musician.
Yeah. Because I'm always in my creative musician bag,
Right.
which is sometimes very skewed vision of like what you want to do.
Yeah.
Compared to what people want.
Yep. How's that balance for you, balancing your personal relationship and then, the crossover you do have in your career?
It's so weird. There is no balance. We just vibe. You know what I mean? Like, we be at the dinner table, like, talking about numbers and stuff, but we'll also be talking about other stupid stuff. But we're always constantly just trying to figure out how to beat the system. And it's just a part of our DNA. So it's kind of like that's how we connect. That's how we, relate. So
facts. It's
always a conversation. There's not one day where we don't talk about music.
Well, y'all are both Gemini, so I'm sure it's a lot of talking.
We're both Geminis. Yep. Hers is May 23rd. Mine's May 27th.
We're also 4 days apart. Yeah, so y'all May Geminis are the best, and Jay,
I say it all the time.
Jay, my wife, is a May Gemini. She's May 30th. Another fun fact, you also do like videography and video editing and just a very creative person. Now, is that something you do like out of for the passion of it, or is it just something that is like, this is a tool to help promote my music and the other things that I do?
Both, because I feel like as an artist, some of the best artists like Kendrick Lamar, Childish Gambino, you can tell the difference between their shows and someone who is not involved in their shows, because they have the vision of what angles they want. They have vision of like sonically, what do I want this to sound like? What do I want it to look like? So it was a passion of mine because, number one, I didn't have anybody to do it. And then also, I just wanted to do it. You know what I mean? Figure out the best way to get my vision across. Because a lot of times you can give a vision to somebody and they don't know what you're trying to do. So it's like, who better to do it than you?
Yep. Now with you, I want to get into genres a little bit. With you playing so many instruments, coming up in church, doing R&B, hip hop, jazz. I mean, all different types of things that we listen to. It's like everything. What genre do you fit in, and do you think genres are important in today's world?
What genre do I fit in? I don't know. I don't really like, as far as like what I love the most.
Or I guess, would you classify yourself as a genre, and or you just want to make whatever?
I just want to make whatever, and I think that's the beauty of today, like being an artist. And today, like for instance, Doechii, she can come out with. I love Doechii, by the way. She's an amazing person.
Yeah, she's fire.
She can come out with a song like Crazy and then do What It Is. You know what I mean? They're like, one's aggressive, hip hop, in your face, and then What It Is very like, melodic and stuff. And so I think in today's time, you can be whatever you want. However, you obviously have to start somewhere. Like most people, they try to push the needle a little bit too fast, opposed to like, yo, what do people want to hear from me? All right, that's what they want to hear. Let me do some more of that. And then you could become Childish Gambino years down the line, where you can completely switch the sonics and what it looks like.
So in doing all that you do, being an independent artist, shooting your own content, you're publishing, all the different things that you do, what's one hat that you wish you didn't have to wear?
One hat that I wish I didn't have to wear would probably be like shooting the content. I wish I had somebody to do it for me, and like I could just tell them what I want, which I'm sure I could, but I think that's something I'll probably just venture off to do more. But it's just kind of hard, especially when you're not paying them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like I have a little money, so I can pay people. I like to get stuff done myself. You know what I mean? So that's probably one hat that I would love to like take a break on, because it can get time consuming to have to think about all of the things. Opposed to just like, I'm just thinking about the music, and when it comes time for visuals or something, I can collab with you or whatever. But yeah, that's probably one hat I probably would like to just take a rest for it, but I can't right now because I got some place to go.
For sure, I get it, man. So as independent artists, it can be hard to cut through sometimes. I'm curious, I know just from our journey, you know, having support and like, you know, shout outs or love from other artists or creatives can be huge. Yeah. Has there ever been anyone that's like really truly like vouched for you and showed up for you and you know, to help catapult your career? Even if they didn't think it was something huge, but
I'd say two people. First of all, you guys, Jade always shouting me out and, you know, putting me in playlists and all that stuff. And then Kiki Wyatt.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like she is always, since the day I met her years ago and then kind of reunited with her like not too long ago. But she always champions for me. She used to always post my videos and stuff like on her main page, not just her story.
Right.
But she used to repost my videos and stuff. And that just means a lot because, you know, somebody of her caliber who is as good as she is, you know, that lets me, like I love to be recognized and seen by greats, you know what I mean? And she is a vocal great.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
She's phenomenal, yo.
Insane. So those, I'd say those two, Jade and Kiki.
Amazing.
Yep.
How can the industry as a whole show up better for independent artists?
That's a tough one because honestly, I don't think that's ever going to happen for real. And I say, when I say that, I mean like independent artists who are just good. Those days are over. Like the days of you just being good are just over. That's the reality of it. You have to have numbers now.
Yep.
So if we want to be honest, like they can show up by finding the good artists and promoting them more, opposed to promoting what, you know, just sells. Because obviously in this game, we're giving people what they want to hear. You know what I mean? We were young. We were giving Luther. We were giving Michael Jackson because they were great. Like you had to be of a certain caliber. Now you just have to have a viral idea, a viral video, and they're going to push you. You know what I mean? Which kind of lowers the bar of what we're being fed. You know what I mean? So it would be cool to see that, but the reality of it is, you know.
Yeah, I love that. Not expecting anything to come from people that have historically showed us that that's not what matters to them. Yeah. So I think that's important to lower your expectations of what this industry. Otherwise, you're gonna get your heart broken over and over again, comparing yourselves and saying what people should do or should not do. And now, granted, there should be. You know, we want there to be progress and therefore there to be more opportunities and ways for us to be acknowledged and affirmed, but
that doesn't happen in our community.
Yeah,
if you realize in pop, you still have to, you know, be good, and country you still have to be good. But when it comes to rap, R&B, and pop, or like when I say pop, I mean like, you know, like the Demi Lovato's and the stuff like that. So
yeah, no, for sure that's definitely true, and I think. One of the biggest things is we don't sign ourselves most of the time. Most of the time, the people doing the signing don't look like us. Yeah. And a lot of times, I think there's been a purpose. They have purposely dumbed us down.
For sure.
I mean, you can't go from everything that they literally make carbon copies of to replicate, and then it go to where we are now without them purposely signing these things and putting these messages and division into our music.
Yep.
So yeah, I totally agree, man.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However, I battle so much with conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the idea of like, okay, so why are they promoting more of this to us when we have so many, you know, so many ideas and examples of greatness. Yep. You know what I mean? Why can't we have an Adele? I'm sure there's millions of artists out there that can probably out-record, and when I say out-record, make better records than Adele. No shade to Adele. She's an amazing artist. She had her chance, she had her shot, and she made a platform.
Yep.
In addition to that, we have those things. We have all of those things. You know what I mean? But when it comes to us, it's kind of like, let's promote more of this because this kind of controls the people.
Yep, 100%.
And the more control we have over the people, the less likely they're going to be able to do anything else once we have the control. You know what I mean?
100%, man. It's so much division, and we should have a black Adeles and people like, you know, obviously she's very inspired by soulful music.
Yeah.
And
that are on major platforms, because I'm sure we do have them. I'm not
for sure.
dismissing
We do.
anybody that's
We have
out there now, but I mean people that are actually getting funded and like, because you know the difference between those fundings. Like you can be someone like that and like an Adele and they don't care about not making money. They'd be like, yo, you're great. We're just gonna keep pushing it.
Yeah,
but
and
when
we'll
it comes
literally give an Adele versus and I'm just throwing someone out here versus a Jennifer Hudson five times the budget.
What?
You know, because we're living in a white world that's what they're going to push. And even going back to what we're talking about with genres, R&B doesn't go up against pop for a reason.
Not at all. Even though R&B is one of the most popular genres right now.
Yeah, but it was a way for them to put us in a space where we can only be consumed by our people and purposely not putting us in spaces where white people can just randomly find out about the great art that we're putting out.
Then they profited off of all of us.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, and that's why things like this are so important. We have to build other platforms and ways for us to be able to have visibility and to share our resources with each other, man. So what does your team look like? And like, I guess what are the vital pieces that you see that, you know, would need to be around you as a producer and songwriter, musician, artist, you know, doing this independently. Obviously you have some help from Warner Chappell, but yeah, what's your experience been like with building a team around you?
Honestly, I have a manager and obviously my girlfriend, and I don't really have like a huge team because I haven't really been like going crazy pushing music and stuff like that. But I'm understanding what parts are needed within a team for an idea to become successful, because I've heard this one guy say an artist without a team is just an idea. So in order to make that idea happen, obviously you have to have people supporting you that's back you, that care about your well-being, that care about, you know, your success. And I'm understanding the parts that are making that right now. I just don't have all those parts. So I think for me, it'll be more so just putting the art out there and attracting the team that I'm going to need.
For sure, man. Now, in creating that art, with all the things that you have to do to balance, you know, your life out, how do you stay motivated to create art?
It's an uphill. It's a roller coaster. Like I have those days where like I feel like last year, because I was so focused on trying to buy a house and trying to just, you know, bring in revenue, trying to do all the things I could do to officially make my lifestyle sustainable, opposed to just being a musician. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that it's challenging, but you know, it's ups and downs to it. There's no way to really explain it. It's just kind of, you're going to have days where you want to create 1 million songs, and then you're going to have weeks where you don't create a song. You know what I mean? And that's where the depression sits in. You're like, man, I'm not creative. What am I doing? You know what I mean? My life's passing me by. I need to go and join Everest or ICDC college. But yeah, you're going to have them days, man. It's a part of the journey, because, you know, if you had all the answers, then it wouldn't really be a journey worth moving through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%, man. So now I want to get into my favorite part of the show. It's called Gem of the Week, where we talk about an independent artist or filmmaker, documentary, inventor, entrepreneur, anything that you're inspired by with someone that's not affiliated with a major label or studio or network.
Gotcha. Yeah. Man, Gem of the Week is probably going to have to go to my brother, Remey Williams, man.
Yeah, Remy's super dope.
Oh, my God. I remember talking with Remey years ago when I kind of first met him, and just kind of hearing his journey and finding out that he sings. I'm like, wait. And you know the difference when it comes to singers. Like, you got people that can sing, then you got people like, yo, you're actually crazy. And Remey's one of those people I was like, yo, you're actually like an amazing singer. Like, we would love to hear more of you sing, bro. Like, whatever.
Yeah, because when I first met him, I only knew him as a drummer.
And he was a cold drummer. It was like, it's very rare that you hear a drummer that's even better at singing than he is playing. Yeah. Or, because most drummers, they like go to bass. But you've never heard of a drummer going from drums to singing. And I honestly think he might be the only drummer singer that I ever known that could do that. Because Anderson .Paak can't sing like that. You know what I mean? He can sing. He
Mm-hmm.
creates great records, but he's more of a rapper, hip hop guy. But Remey, man, he's an amazing drummer, amazing singer. And a fun fact, so the song "Unloyal" for Summer Walker and Ari Lennox.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the studio and Remey actually came up with that bass line for "Unloyal."
Oh, it dope.
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, Slim," because I was playing it and I was like, "Yeah, this feels cool, but it just ain't that." He was like, "Yo, Slim, what if you did doom 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 doom?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's actually pretty hard." His dad is a famous bass player too.
Oh,
as well.
really?
Yeah. So yeah,
That's
shout
crazy.
out to,
I never knew that.
Shout out to Remey, man.
Shout out Remey, man.
Yeah.
So my gem of the week would have to go to Christian Nolan Jones. He's a Atlanta native and he's a filmmaker. And he did this project called Glitter and Gold. Super dope. I can't remember what festival he was a part of where he won some awards for it, but just an amazing short film that he did. And it's someone that we're definitely going to be working with. Just incredibly talented. He worked on rap shit as well. But just an incredible eye. He totally gets it. I love talking, just brainstorming ideas for things that we wanted to bring to life. And just a really great guy, great energy. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's fire. I'm definitely going to do my research tonight.
For sure. So shout out to Christian. And next, we're going to jump into Sign, Drop, Collab. So same concept as Fuck, Marry, Kill. You're gonna have three options, and you're gonna see which one you want to sign. That's someone you would love to work with long term. Someone you want to drop, who would be the person you wouldn't want to work without that group, and someone you want to collab with. That's just like a one-off.
Okay.
Yeah. So first one we're gonna go with in the producer world: Timbaland, Pharrell, Dark Child.
Hey, yo.
Sign,
Jeez.
drop, collab.
And this is me knowing where their careers are now?
Yes.
Okay. Dark Child.
Just you, whatever your preference
Dark
is.
Child gave us Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
Collab. Drop.
You dropping Dark Child?
I'm sorry. But if we're talking about, like, let's just make some crazy money, because he's made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have to drop Dark Child. I would have to sign Pharrell and collab with Timbaland. And I say that because out of all of them, I feel like Pharrell is the career I would love to model myself after. Being able to skate anywhere you at. He's made some of the biggest crossover records. He's also made some of the biggest records that appeal to us. He's crossed over into the fashion world. I'm not into the whole fashion world just yet, but he's done movies and stuff too. You know what I mean? Timbaland, I would love to collaborate with Timbaland because his ear is impeccable. His ear is like none other. Dark Child, I would only have to drop him by default because I have those two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally get that. That would actually be my answer too. Yeah. So next one, sign, drop, collab. We have Snarky Puppy, Ghost Note, Jacob Collier.
God, dog.
You're familiar with Ghost Note, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Spud. That's
Yeah,
his
yeah,
name.
yeah.
I would probably have to drop Ghost Notes.
Okay.
I would have to drop them. I would have to sign Snarky, and I would have to collaborate with Jacob. And the reason why I say that, because Snarky is like a huge movement. You know what I mean? They honestly researched jazz music for me.
Yep.
Because before, we were just listening to whatever, and it became real.
Like Yellow Jackets, yeah, back in the day.
But somehow, Snarky Puppy, they figured out a way to create music that's very elaborate, but also can reach regular people. Like, you can listen to their music and be like, man, this feels like I'm on the score of a movie or something like that. So it would definitely be that. Or Jacob Collier, I would love to sit with Jacob Collier and pick his brain because he's like, elite.
His mind is out of here.
Insane. Like, I don't even think he's a real person sometimes.
Yeah.
But
he may be a simulation.
For sure.
He may be the first iteration of AI that's
Absolutely.
that's living with
Jacob
us.
is AI.
I would have to drop his voice though. I would have to drop his voice.
I can understand
But
that.
everything else about him,
He does he has a unique voice.
He does. He has that Giveon Friday vibe. But in a very musical way.
Very musical way.
It's hilarious.
You appreciate his music.
No,
he's
not a bad singer. It's just
his
not
voice
it's
is
not my
unique,
preference. But musically, like he's amazing.
Genius.
You wouldn't want Jacob to sing at your wedding.
Nah, man. You go just play some keys behind them and we'll give you a vocoder, let you harmonize or something.
Yeah.
But nah, shout out to Jacob though. Next sign dropping collab, we have drums, bass, and keys.
I have to drop drums. I would have to sign keys and collab with bass. The reason why I say that because I have a million drummer friends that all play. Like, there's no need for me to play anymore.
Yeah.
For real. Like, I love doing it. Like, it's a passion. But keys I would have to sign because I can express myself more on keys. I love to play bass more than I love to play keys, though. Like, 'cause there's just less thought, less work. I can just have fun. Keys, you have to think of voicings. You have to all in real time. It's pretty crazy.
And every voice is different because depending on the key.
So I would definitely have to sign keys because I feel like you can reach more people playing keys. Like, you can play, a Journey song on keys. It's going to be kind of hard to do that on bass unless you're Victor Wooten or something.
I'm kind of torn. It's definitely assigned keys for me, but I'm torn between drums and bass.
Yeah.
I would probably lean more bass now just because I'm just getting back into it, and I just bought a bass like maybe 6 months ago.
Well, that's hard too, though. I low key feel like I should drop bass because more people love rhythm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Like, I think it depends. If it's really hot, I prefer to play bass.
Yeah.
I don't like getting like super sweaty playing drums and everything. And like it's a lot of energy to exert.
I'd have to keep it the same.
Overall, I think I probably like playing drums better. I think I can let go just a little more because it's like I'm just hitting stuff. So versus like I got to still think about the notes and these intervals and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I'm torn between those.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Last one. Production and writing, MDing and playing live, or artistry?
Yo, that one's actually insane. Production and writing, MD and playing. Actually, it's not that insane. I would drop MDing and playing. I would drop MD and playing. I would sign artistry, and I would collab with production and writing. And I say that because obviously MDing and playing, even though I do all this stuff for these people, sometimes I still feel a sense of just like I'm working for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't get to have an actual relationship with a lot of people I do this for because it is what it is. You know what I mean? He'd hire you for a job.
Yep.
And then artistry, I would have to sign artistry because I can express myself to the fullest.
Yeah.
Production and writing, that can be a little iffy because you're still working for somebody, trying to help somebody. And I know the feeling of writing a record and like shopping the record or whatever, and then you hearing an artist and you be like, this don't even remotely feel close to the demo,
what I wanted,
to what I wanted. And like I have to sit in there to try to pull that out of you.
Yep.
And you may not be capable of that. This may not be your song. It's a great song, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's for you.
Facts.
So
big facts. That's a big reason why there is a J Nova, because we were writing and producing for other people, and it was like nobody's gonna be able to sing these songs like you. Why don't you just keep
do
them?
them? Yeah.
No, big facts, man. Last couple. So taking it back to keys. So these are keys to play in. Sign, drop, and collab. A major, G major, or D major.
I'm dropping all of them. Like, no, I would sign. You said A major,
G major, and D major.
G is always weird because sometimes I veer off into F thinking I'm in G.
Yep.
But I would have to sign A major.
Facts.
Because I don't know why. Just having those black keys help. I would have to collab with. I would collab with G major because I can still figure it out. And D major is just so weird. I always have to get rid of D major. Kind of. I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable in all the keys, but
Me
if it had to be
too,
one
but
I had to
it's
drop,
just-
I just
yeah.
hate D major.
It's between D major and G major for me.
Yeah.
That's like the worst.
Like, yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna go to something a little more favorable in keys to play in. E flat, C sharp, or A flat. Your church keys.
E flat,
C sharp or
C
D
sharp.
flat.
I'm off rip. I'm signing C sharp
Yes,
because that's one of my favorite keys to play.
same. Probably
it-
my favorite.
It makes shape wise. It just makes sense. A flat. I'm also collabing with, and E flat. I'm cool off E flat. I can I can drop E flat. I'm not tripping.
Yeah, I would do. That's the exact
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Yep. Good man. Good
Yeah.
man. Good man. All right, so now we're gonna get into some trivia. This will be multiple choice. I don't know these questions either, so
shoot.
we're just going at it. So
All right.
may the best man win. So this will be all things that's kind of related to your expertise. So
Okay.
hopefully
Oh yeah.
our expertise.
Ready?
We are ready.
Which of these artists has never won a Grammy? Diana Ross,
Diana Ross.
Lil' Kim, Jill Scott.
It's Diana Ross.
I'm going with Diana Ross.
That is correct.
Yeah, that was one fact I actually did know.
I did not know that, but I knew that Jill Scott had, and I
didn't know Kim had one.
right. I didn't know it Kim, but I figured she had to being in this group of people.
Yeah.
And Diana Ross has an honorary,
Which is
like,
insane.
a lifetime, kind of like what's her name?
She has a lifetime
Angela
Grammy.
Bassett. Angela Bassett.
She has a lifetime Grammy.
It's not a lifetime. It's like some sort of honorary,
Life- but no
lifetime
but-
achievement, but not a true
Right.
for her art.
Okay.
Insane.
Okay, this is a good one for you guys. How many instruments did Prince play on his debut album For You? Was it 27, 14, or 32?
27.
I've 27 definitely sticks out to me too.
Yeah.
God damn.
That's correct. Slim, you gotta stop going first.
No, it's literally I remember.
Yeah, I remember that number. I don't know why I
yeah.
remember that number, but I remember, yeah.
All right, y'all are 2 and 2. This is a really interesting one. Who is the only band to ever perform on all 7 continents? The Rolling Stones, the Beatles, or Metallica?
All 7 continents?
All 7?
Antarctica?
Antarctica, yes.
Oh, that had
Only
to.
band to ever perform on all 7 continents, including Antarctica. The Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Metallica.
Beatles are the only ones that make sense.
I'm going with the Rolling Stones.
I'm saying Beatles. I feel like that was the only one that makes sense.
Well, y'all are still tied because it was Metallica. They did
wow.
a performance for the scientists,
Of course they did.
which I thought was the craziest. Like Antarctica, like what?
Over the Beatles, though?
Maybe they. Just
Nah,
really
that's
liked
crazy.
We need to put out all this fire with
Right.
in Antarctica.
What is Frank Ocean's real name?
Oh, it's something Bordeaux.
Oh, well then you're gonna get that right. Damn.
Oh, you're supposed to
don't
give
know
me
it.
the.
Yeah, you could've-
Sorry.
could've had this
You
one.
could have had it.
Well, maybe you still can, Devin. Just go with whatever you would have went with. What is Frank?
Just
Ocean's-
change that name, and then we want just use that same. He only said one name,
I only
so
said one
just
name.
use that name twice for one, and then we'll have to figure it out. Or use it in all 3 of them, and then we'll have to figure it out.
That's actually really good. Okay. All right. What is Frank Ocean's real name? Is it Timothy Bro, Christopher Bro, or Brandon Bro?
It's Christopher.
I'm going with Brandon.
And Slim is correct.
Damn
It's
it.
Christopher. I don't know if it's pronounced bro, but it's like
It's bro.
Breaux, like ho, bro, fo. So I'm
Yeah.
Brandon, right? So Christopher Bro.
I don't even know why I know that. Where did I see that at? I might have saw it like on.
I've never
write-up
never
or
heard his
something.
name.
Yeah, that's right. So Slim is winning. The last question. Who was the first woman to land 3 #1 songs on Billboard streaming charts in a single year? Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, Janet Jackson.
Say that one more time.
Who was the first woman to land 3 #1 songs on Billboard streaming charts in a single year? Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, or Janet Jackson?
Nicki Minaj.
I'm gonna go Megan Thee Stallion.
That's correct.
God damn it.
Slim is the winner of the Let There Be Art Trivia.
Why do I know all this information? I don't even know I know it. That's crazy, actually.
You're brilliant, man.
Hey, man, so are you.
All right, so let's get into our last. No, I'm sorry, we have a couple more segments. Last one is dream and nightmare. So, what is one dream come true type story in your career and one nightmare or horror story from your career?
Dream from my career thus far?
Mm-hmm.
One dream come true is producing on a major album, like the Love album, being able to work with all those artists. Like, I didn't expect I would work. Normally when you work with artists, it's like over a time span.
Right.
But I only been signed for 2 years. This is year 3. And I've been able to, like, you know, be nominated, Grammy nominated and all this stuff, and work with all those artists in a short period of time. Because that's kind of, I've heard that's like insane. It's like not really that heard of when it comes to. So that is a dream come true. A nightmare would probably be not doing enough for myself. And when I say that, I feel like we get, you know, so caught up in, you know, technically this is all a part of doing stuff for myself too as well. But at the same time, you know, there's so many ideas that we have, so many visions that we have that we don't bring to life, focusing on trying to be a part of everybody else's movie.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that's a nightmare in itself, because like you have to live with that. You know what I mean? Even with being a musician, like imagine being 60 years old and the only thing you have is some pictures when you played at Woodstock, you know, drinking beer with the homies.
Yeah.
But you don't have anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a nightmare, like not doing enough for myself, which scares me for my future. Because I'm like, the more and more, because people that you work for, they can always switch up and be like, yo, we want to go a different direction. Doesn't mean that you did anything. It's that we want to go in a different direction. And that's all those years that you've spent trying to help them, thinking that you're helping yourself when really you're helping them. So not doing anything for yourself, which sets you up for independence from all of that, is a nightmare.
100%. Can totally relate to that. Just in our early days of moving out to LA, and you know, when we moved, like we literally, so we went and did a play. We put all our stuff in storage, so we had nowhere to live for like at least 2 months or so. And right when the play was over, we had to go find a place to live. We literally had no gigs or nothing lined up, and we just had to like hit the ground running. I ultimately ended up getting Toni Braxton. I went on tour with her probably within the first 2 or 3 months that we were there. Jade went out with Rihanna. And, you know, we looked up and, you know, a year and a half, 2 years gone by, and it was like, yo, if we put in the same time and energy that we did going on the road and going to these rehearsals and learning the music and just treat it like, I know you don't see the dollar and cents of every hour that's added up, which is like how a lot of people have to get motivated to work. But if we put that same amount of time in over the years, we will make all that up.
You will see it.
100%. And I can definitely attest to that you have to put in time and attention into your brand, because I really believe that where we're going in society is really niching down on who you are as a person, and allowing people to, you know, to be inspired by it and to want to learn from you. And it literally only takes, it's a quote, I can't remember exactly, but I think it's 10,000 eyes, 1,000 people who are willing to pay for something from you, and a network of 100 will get you everything you need to be sustainable in this world. And I truly believe that. And I don't think you have to be this, you know, huge, you know, superstar or have hundreds of thousands of followers for that to happen. There's people out here with 5,000 followers who are just so authentic with what they do. And people are buying in so much that they it's just like, no, I rock with you as a person, and I want to learn from you. Absolutely. Like, at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's like we done heard a million drummers and musicians and producers, but it's like something about
you're special,
that I connect with. So that's my path, and a way that I want to learn to grow in this industry. So Yeah, man, just do it for yourself.
Do it for you.
Man, before we go, I would love to get one thing that you would like to manifest for yourself. I guess, in the next year, I guess roughly, what's something that you want to manifest in your career?
Man, honestly,
or your life in general. It don't have to be career driven.
one thing I want to manifest in my career, in my life is, like I said, a little more independence with my original music. I think that's always a shaky thought because it's very vulnerable. It's very like you, and you want people to, receive what you have to say and not just let it fall on deaf ears. So I'm definitely manifesting a lot of success in my solo independent artistry, as well as my band's artistry. You know what I mean? We've been kind of inconsistently at it for a very long time.
Yeah, shout out to Band of Brothers because we did not get a chance to talk about them. So you can keep going, and I would love to touch on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just been kind of hard because we're all, come from the same walk, but we all are just trying to, figure it out, make money. And it's a little harder to be consistent with what today's times. Like now you can't just release music and, the right person just finds it, which you can technically, but it's a little harder. It's a little more complicated. So definitely would love to see more success in that too as well. And and really see all of the people that I'm around and surrounded by that inspire me also come up, and we become the new legends. We become the new Pharrells. We become the new, Janet Jacksons and the new You know what I mean? So that is something I definitely want to manifest, that everybody that I'm surrounded with and we're all helping each other out, we elevate as well together.
For sure. No, we're definitely going to manifest that and do everything we can to make that come true. Congrats on all you've done, my brother. It's been a pleasure to watch you grow and to learn with you and to laugh with you and through this whole process. Your first step into your artistry was through Band of Brothers, which is for you guys, all super talented musicians. There's a full rhythm section, drums, bass, guitar, keys. They all write, produce, sing, and it's just, you really haven't seen this since Mint Condition and the bands that inspired a lot of us to be who we are and to appreciate that musicality. Talk a little bit about that. One of my best friends, Dre Brown, who I went to Mo Dre, who I went to Berklee College of Music with, is the bass player and does a lot of the production and writing work with Slim here. So just talk about your journey in Band of Brothers.
Man, we had a very unique journey. We started off in Atlanta as a 630 band under one of our great friends, Josh Bias. He had started a group, and we used to just rehearse in the garage like nobody's business. Like we didn't have no gigs on the table, but we knew that some stuff would come of it. So we used to rehearse until we had these managers at the time named Devin Gino, and they took us to this one spot called Local Luna. And
on Sundays,
they knew the promoters there that was doing the Sunday party, and they had a couple bands that were in rotation every Sunday. And they was like, "Yo, man, I want you to give my band a shot." And they was like, "Yeah, we'll try them this Sunday." And the first Sunday, everybody was kind of blown away because Josh Bias, he's an amazing performer himself, great singer, great writer, and he would really perform, and we will also be back there performing, going crazy with him. And it went from doing one Sunday out of the month to 2 Sundays out of the month to every Sunday, to where it became our thing. And it became a really, really popular party event that happened every Sundays at Local Luna. And it got so bad, the people in the area, they were tired of seeing so many people pull up. You know what I mean?
So they was packed.
They used to do everything they could to get it shut down, and eventually it got shut down. And then at that moment, I think it was a little rocky for all of us because we were trying to figure out which direction we wanted to go, if we wanted to keep doing the cover band stuff or if we wanted to pursue original stuff. And then in that time, I think things just kind of, all of our ideas of what success could mean for the band kind of got a little weird. So we ended up separating. And after we separated, the guys and I, we were, just doing freelance musician gigs until we got a call to do a gig for this artist named Rory. And at the time, he was like, "Yo, we just need a 4-piece band." It was like, well, we got a 4-piece band, you know what I mean? Let's run it. So we did that. And from there, it just became history. We traveled the world that year with Rory. And eventually that got shut down because I believe like a lot of people were kind of trying to figure out what Rory was. They thought it was like a band, but it was really just one artist. But we would just perform like we were a full thing. You know what I mean? Because we just enjoyed performing. And I think the labels, they weren't really feeling that as much. So after that, then that's when the split started to happen a little more because people like, they were being a little cheap. They didn't want to use a full band. It was like, oh, we only want 2 players. We only want 3 guys. We only want a bass and a keyboard. So from there, we was like, yo, we should just do our own original music. We can stay together, do our own thing. And we started to write and stuff and create songs and stuff. And, you know, like I said, the rest is history. We just continue to stay together. To this day, we still together. Yeah. I mean, writing and creating music and traveling together.
Yeah, you guys definitely have to check out Band of Brothers. Literally one of my favorite bands. Some amazing music. Just really talented, great guys. You guys came on tour with us and got to open up.
Amazing time.
Yeah, and also play with on Jay's set with me. And I mean, when I tell you that experience was amazing to just
be with your friends on stage.
And to travel and to just like we thugged it out and figured out going on tour, and we self-funded it and like literally and sold out so many shows and just really for the first time being able to see all these fans and people that you see on the internet. It's just to see it in real life. And even to see how people responded to you guys' music, just as first time listeners, man, it's
Chicago.
Chicago.
That was the first time I almost cried.
Chicago.
I'm like, yo, these people are going crazy for us. Like, we're actually Jay Nova. And I was like, wow, this feels amazing. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? And I'm like, y'all don't even know. We about to play with her. Now it's about to go 20 times higher. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, and that was the energy. Every time we would get on stage, people would enjoy you guys' music so much that when we got on stage, it's like, cool, we get that same energy. And that was the vision that I saw. And I was glad that it all worked out, man. Just so many memories over the years. And yeah, dude, we're just so glad to have you be a part of this podcast and be one of our first guests.
Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's our pleasure. I want to get into if you could let the people know how to follow you or where they can find some of your music.
Well, you can follow me on all social media platforms, Slimwav, SLIMWAV. That's on everything. You should be able to find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of those things.
And we'll put it down in the description for you guys. But yeah, thank you so much for being on, and we'll definitely see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you next time on the Let There Be Art podcast.